it away.
Well, I'm excited that you all are here today. I'm going to introduce to you truly the go-to expert when it comes to building brands, creating products, personal brands that can really turn into millions and millions of dollars. The most creative guy, and I absolutely, unequivocally, I know nobody else as creative as Mike Koenig's. Like the way his brain works, I still trying to figure that out. We all are. So what do you need right now more than anything to grow your business? You need better marketing, you need better sales, you need premium products, some that can scale and that are sustainable. And how are you going to stand out and get noticed long enough for the world to pay attention to you to make those sales, especially now? And we are in such a unique time, an unprecedented time, and the visibility is everything. So that's why I wanted to bring to you my dear friend, Mike Koenig. We've been friends for, I don't know, a decade, Mike?
Yeah, at least. It's definitely been that long.
Yeah, and so I first met Mike through his wife, Vivian, and Vivian and I have been friends for many years, and I've really been a proponent of their charity, just like my child. And so Mike is such a big-hearted guy. He's got such integrity, and he has launched so many people into multi-million-dollar companies. He's helped people that have been in business for a long time to take it to the next level. And again, I don't know anybody as creative as Mike. He's also helped, I don't know, almost 2,000 people become #1 best-selling authors, something like that.
Yeah,
And
over 1,800.
yeah. And he's helped me. He's helped multiple pinnacle clients of ours to grow and scale through a #1 best-selling book, amongst other things. He's, built companies, he's sold companies. And so, this is the time that you need to be creative and you need to stand out. So I said, okay, Mike, we need to get your message out there to my peeps. So thank you for doing this today.
Well, thank you. It's my pleasure, and it's great to be here as usual. I appreciate that kind intro. And as I like to say, we're in this amazing transitional time, and for a lot of businesses, it's been very, very difficult and absolutely crazy. For others, it's been incredible because this has been the world's way of saying what we already saw coming a long time ago, which is it is time to virtualize, it's time to digitize, it's time to dematerialize, but also it's a time to rethink how you do business. And I come from the perspective that fewer and deeper and premium is better for this time in the world, and you want to be seen as the premium brand in your industry versus try to be wide and shallow in a very, very noisy environment where lots and lots of things are changing. So what I have today for your everyone in your tribe is what I start out, the big promise is it's you and your business getting featured in Entrepreneur Magazine. As you know, I've been writing for Entrepreneur and Forbes for a while, and how to elevate your brand and attract and grow and monetize an audience quickly, but also how to become competition and recession proof. It's something I'm super interested in myself. So what I'm going to do, Allison, you're welcome to interrupt me at any time, of course. I'm going to share my screen right now. I'm going to just dive through. I'm going to do some teaching, and then interrupt me at any time, whatever you want to do. I always love it when you participate and share your genius as well. So that is promise number one. But I did call this the Competition and Recession Proof Toolkit because no matter what goes on, there's always cycles. We just had a crazy cycle forced on us. So again, if you're just joining us, make sure you introduce yourself in chat. I'm reading that simultaneously because I'm creating this on the fly to some degree, even though I've got some rails. So if you take a look at what's up right now, I've been looking for someone just like you. How do we start working together? To me, this is like I love you in business speak. For someone to show up or to get an email like this, which starts out with, I already know I want to work with you. And something along the lines of, I've been following your content online, or I saw your article, I watched your interview in Entrepreneur Magazine. When can we get started? And a quick call me now, right? This is pure
the dream
love.
email, the dream email, right?
Yep. And I swear I had that happen not that long ago. I will interrupt that vision, where I had someone show up and they had registered and they knew they were applying for a $250,000 a year program. And that's how they started the Zoom call, which I do all my enrollments now via Zoom, which is by the way, I think that's very important. But it was a brother-sister business. It was about a $12 million a year software company. And she started out and said, I already know I want to work with you. It's just a matter of, we just want to understand the details. And that's how it opened up. And I was like, holy cow. And I go, well, how did that happen? She said, well, I read a couple of your articles. Then I watched a couple of videos on YouTube. And then I listened to a couple podcast episodes. And I just knew based on who you were. And that, again, I think is idyllic. But I'm going to bring that back, which is, how do you craft that situation, that circumstance, so it becomes normal instead of the exception? And I think that is the big idea. So what I'd love from you watching and listening right now is enter into chat. What is one sale worth to you right now? I'd like to know what your sale is. And then also, if you can, your low and your high ticket sale, in addition to a typical sale. So please enter that in right now. That will definitely help as we move forward. And that means Andrea and Biddy and Bruce and Diane and Elizabeth and Farley and Hein and Lonnie, Lisa, Loki, Lotus, Lou, Lucy. I can't believe how many L names we have here.
I was going to say, wow.
What is this, Allison?
I don't know.
We got Melanie and Michelle.
La, la, la.
Missy, Norman, yeah. Paula, Pauline, Sarah, Chanel, Sue, Suzanne, Teresa, Tina Maria, there we go, and Tony and Vivian. All right, so a good sale. So Andrea says one sale's worth $12K in revenue per year. High is 25, low is 5. Okay. So again, keep those coming. This is incredibly valuable. And if you aren't paying full attention, stop everything else you're doing. Turn off the distractions and the disruptions, because I'm going to give you 10 things you absolutely are going to want to write down. Heinz says 30, max 1,000. Bruce says 15,000 to 90. Loki says 50 to 150K for an annual contract. Low sale is 4K. So here's what I'll tell you. It doesn't matter what it is, but what I do want you to think about is premium as you're seeing this. Suzanne says 50 to 1,300. So keep those coming in. This really helps me. Now here's another one. Think about this. Think about what's the story you want people to tell you or to share about you. So if you could send someone a link to either an article or a video that immediately elevated who you are, your business, in a simple story, so they could make a decision right away before you or anyone on your team spent any time with them. So this one is check out this article about me in Entrepreneur Magazine, watch the video, and if you want to talk further, we can schedule a short call or Zoom session. So again, what's the one story you want the world to know about you that will make them want you and desire you? So again, thank you for the input, Elizabeth, Teresa, great numbers here, Sue as well. Tina Maria, fabulous. So this is an example of what you see on screen. It's zipping by really, really fast for some darn reason, but that is an article that I did with one of my clients. And this, and for him, his leads started coming in less than 1 hour. So we published an article about him. He got his first lead in less than an hour, and over a period of 24 hours, he got 22 leads. And this is actually a screenshot from the lead gen software we were using. Now, here's another one. This is Charlie Epstein. Now, for him, posted the article. We actually created a one-man show for him. So in this particular case, what I did is I interviewed him in my studio, crafted an article, published it in Entrepreneur Magazine, and he got instant visibility. Now, what also happens is the article got syndicated. The reason why I choose Entrepreneur is because it's a well-recognized publication. It's one of the few that I've been able to embed a direct link back to a website in, and it gets syndicated, and I can embed a video in the article. So if you think about it, Allison, article, video, link to your website, instant SEO that sticks around forever, but it's highly elevated. And basically what the interview is who you are, what you do, who you do it for, why you do it, and it's almost a mini infomercial. It's as close to that without being one, which is, what's the story you want the world to tell about you and know about you? Now, in this particular case, it got syndicated to the hour. It also showed up on Apple News, which was a first for me. I hadn't had that happen, and that's the picture. They also didn't expect them to take a picture of both of us, but that's what the publication chose. So here
that's incredible. I mean,
yeah,
like,
isn't that crazy?
Seriously, that's priceless because it's coming from them. Like, you know, that's the thing about PR. It's not you talking about yourself.
Yep.
They are basically promoting you, and they have the credibility. So that elevates above everything else.
And the biggest challenge that I've seen, though, is journalists in general don't write well about businesses in a way that really elevate you. They're taught to report a certain way.
Yeah.
And it very rarely does what you want it to do, and you have very little control. Whereas if you're working with a business owner who knows how to do this, they know what the framework and the story needs to be. Mm-hmm. So again, inside chat, if you know what is the number one thing you want your audience, your buying audience, to know about you and your business, type that into chat. Again, that'll be incredibly valuable as we go through. So I'm going to continue on here. Now, I have a few big promises I'm going to make to you. One of them is I do have a 10-step system I've devised. I call it the 10 steps to building your category of one brand. I'll explain what that is in a moment. What it takes to get featured in major media. How my team and I give you a head start, and also there's time for Q&A. So here we've got Missy Kelly says our products are a life hack, helping people with disabilities in their daily life so that they can what? Hein is highest quality quality for best price. I will tell you right now, this is a great time to talk about what a category of one is. Category of one, if you remember when Tim Ferriss came out with the 4-Hour Work Week, that book established a brand new category that told the world, he called it lifestyle design. Up until then, lifestyle design didn't exist, but he created a conversation for something that we all really want, which is, wow, what if you could make a lot of money and not have to work very hard and have a self-running, self-managing organization? Okay, that was the big promise. But up until then, no one had created a container to describe it. And from that moment forward, he actually created a brand new book category. The publishing world recognized it, and he had a conversation he could own and dominate with no competition. That's what a category of one is. And I'm going to show you a couple examples of those in some case studies today. It's a way to rethink. So going back, and I'm not picking on you, Hein, but anytime you're relying on quality and price, you are absolutely not in a category of one. That is something that is easily forgettable. It's how to become absolutely memorable. And that is like, what is it that touches the heart and the mind and activates the soul of the consumer when they associate a feeling with you, an outcome that you own? So that is, by the way, why I created my newest business. I call it the Superpower Accelerator. It's a way to find your superpower, amplify it, and share it to the world with the shortest story that gets someone to show up saying, I already know I want what you have. I already want you and only you. So, but this, by the way, this has taken me, I'm 54. I just turned 54. It took me about this long to figure out what my superpower actually is. Tell me if this is accurate, Allison.
Okay.
So I turn your unique superpower into an interesting, engaging, and profitable Category 1 brand and platform with technology and marketing to get you noticed, grow an audience, and monetize it quickly.
Definitely.
Right?
Unlike nobody else.
There you
So
go.
your superpower. I love that.
There you go. So what's your superpower? Type it into chat. Okay, and I see a lot of activity. Now that thing whizzing by, I'm having my machine that normally shows a whole bunch of stuff isn't behaving right, but if you saw that whizzing by, that's my own little sizzle reel. I have a podcast called Capability Amplifier with Dan Sullivan from Strategic Coach, a second podcast called The Big Leap with Gay Hendricks, if you've ever seen or read that book. He's an amazing guy. This is, again, it's going by incredibly fast. Just got interviewed by Yakov Smirnoff, the comedian. I don't know if you remember him. Really
oh my
interesting
God,
cat.
I
Can
do.
you believe it? Yeah, he's still going strong.
That
There's
is incredible.
There's a recent one. He's in the news right now as usual. The old Wolf of Wall Street just did a interview with him a few weeks ago. We were 6 feet apart here approximately. That was during COVID. But I'm in the business of getting attention at the end of the day.
Yeah.
So,
great.
again, forgive the flashy screen, the weird video there. Here's step one, and write this down. Who is your market? Type it into chat. Are they B2B or B2C? Distributors or channel partners? Investors? Vendors? Influencers? Corporate training and speaking? Media? Who do you want to find you right now to buy your products? So Loki says B2B. Sarah says B2C. Heinz says BS. I wonder what that is. Okay. Okay. Philanthropy, like Vivian is in the philanthropic. Okay. B2B, B2B. Missy says both. Biddy says both. Okay. So it's really, really important. That determines how you craft. Now, here's a little case study. This is a guy named Charlie Epstein. Now, on the surface, he looks like another ordinary, boring white guy, balding, 61-year-old financial advisor. And the first thing when he walked up to me and said, hey, you and I should start working together, I thought, that sounds boring. I didn't say it out loud, but that's my initial reaction. Which, in general, when I hear about financial advisors, it is. But after I got to know him, I found out that he used to do some stand-up. He's really funny. And right before 9/11, he had an off-Broadway one-man show that, of course, got disrupted by 9/11. So I eventually said, after listening to him, he said something to me that really lit me up. So, by the way, one of the things we do is something called Vision Day, which is at our beach condo across the street from the Pacific Ocean. Not far away from you, Allison. So,
love it there.
Came over for something we call Vision Day. And that's Marisa Brassfield, who worked for Peter Diamandis for 7 years, managing his brand and messaging, working with him on books. She works with me. She's my number one now. But I asked Charlie, what is it that would light you up and a feeling that you want, you seek, you strive for? I always say, what's the primary emotion and feeling you want to experience all the time? And by the way, write that into chat. For him, he said, I want to answer this simple question, what's my ministry? And for him, it was to end suffering and misery from money. And personally, to figure out what his next chapter was. But he said, I want to ease people's pain about money. I want to ring people's bell, have more fun, and laugh again. And he said, let's get people to peace through laughter. So that's what I wrote down. So again, type in what emotion or feeling do you want to experience all the time in your business, personally and professionally. So what we did with Charlie is we decided to craft a one-man show about money. So I enlisted the help of 3 professional comedians. One of them was virtual, but that's Ryan and Jesse to Charlie's right. We sat down, and Charlie started telling funny stories, and we plastered our walls with white pages just over and over again. and pulling out of him his life story and everything that he knew about money. And we decided we were going to make money funny. And we created something we call Yield of Dreams. And we pulled out the top 14, or actually 15 myths about money and performed it for him and crafted a brand called Yield of Dreams, Paychecks for Life, which is a one-man show. And by the way, I'm watching all your text messages here, and these are great. Joyful and Blissful from Michelle. Peace of Mind and Healing for Sarah. Philanthropy from Dawn. Mission is to help millions of people with disabilities around the globe with their products. And this is key. In order to be a category of one, you have to merge your superpower with the feeling and emotion you want to experience and share. And that's what I've found actually attracts your best premium clients. They want to experience the same feelings you do. And that's something that is very atypical in the world of marketing. So here's Charlie. By the way, he has a very blissful look on his face. But what we did is we modeled the Field of Dreams movie, and from there, interviewed him in the studio about Yield of Dreams, turned it into the article, and we called it Making Money Funny with Charlie Epstein's Yield of Dreams one-man show. Now, his audience that he wanted to attract with this was investors and also all the financial organizations that he sells products for to support him to, as he says, put cheeks in seats, because this one-man show, he's the only financial advisor in the world with a one-man show now. And he is going out talking to sponsors who will give him money and actually fill up his seats, because he's going to be selling financial instruments and tools in a completely interesting new way. And I already asked you, what's your ideal transaction size? But for Charlie, the ticket leads to a $25,000 engagement, okay? And by the way, again, I love these things. Dawn just said peace of mind, trust, and comfort. And that is awesome. Again, for me, it's joy. I want to experience joy every single day. So step number 2 is something called the hook and the car crash. So you have to answer the question, who cares? Who cares about you and what you have? Now type this into chat. Answer this one. You are in the blank business. And next, NBB. What does that stand for? Don't worry, I'll tell you. But if you have a chance, just type it in as fast as you can. Every article that you see needs to be a blank your audience projects themselves into. And then finally, activate the blank glands and make yourself memorable. So I'm going to answer these, but give it a, okay, so I see people business, mental health business, retail business, self-development. And I'm going to tell you, no. Before you get a chance to be in the thing you think you are, you've got to do what? You got to be in the entertainment business and the attention-getting business first. And NBB stands for never be boring. Okay, if you're boring, no one's going to remember you, and you won't get a chance to sell what you have. No one will find out what your superpower and your genius is, or your brand either. And every article needs to be a movie your audience projects themselves into. They need to see themselves as the hero in a movie about them. There we go. Cherie says, never be boring. Good. And then I always say, activate the greed glands. Now, Allison, I jokingly say, all of us are in the business of selling a product that fulfills 3 core goals. Get paid, get laid, live forever. It's easy to remember, but what does that mean? So get paid is you're in the business of making money or selling money at a discount. I know I'm embarrassing you a little bit, but I love doing that.
Thank you.
And it means you are in the relationship business. The only reason I say it is because it's easy to remember and a little bit off-putting. Yeah. Right? But we want to enrich and connect with more people. And then living forever means you're enhancing the quality level of life. So again, back in chat, inside of there, you're activating the greed glands for one of those 3. And a perfect situation is if your business actually does all 3 of them at the same time. All right. And I got, love it. So Cherie says, oh yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Beauty industry. So for Dawn, the beauty industry is in fact the relationship. It's the getting laid business. It really is. It's making yourself more attractive to the opposite sex. And as Missy says, we do all three. Dawn, the spa business is health. Okay, it's the living forever business. So again, knowing what the hook is, you got to activate a core desire and a core need. Optimum health and energy for Suzanne. Again, that is the living forever business. It can also be you're going to have a better relationship and you'll probably make more money too. But you got to strike with the one that's most important. So one of the things that I did is I did an interview called How to Deliver Compelling Interviews Your Audience Will Love. Because I'm kind of in the all three business too, but initially I'm in the getting paid business. I help people make more money by being more attractive and living their best lives ever. But I had to create a story in this one that told my story, okay, about doing interviews, okay? So for Justin, his framing is Justin Donald is the investment world's new Warren Buffett. He's in the getting paid and lifestyle business. So now when you type in Justin Donald, he shows up all over the place online. So step number 3 is knowing what your premium offer is. And I call it the no schmuck pitch, and having a market to message match and embedding your offer in your stories. Now here's the most important takeaway, is in every article that ever gets created, every single word that comes out of your mouth, every sentence has to lead people to desiring what it is you're selling. And you can't waste any time on that. And also doing it, like I say, in a no schmuck pitch way, which is if you come off as being pitchy, you're going to be off-putting. So it's important, again, that just as I'm doing right now, if you break down this presentation, I'm telling stories about people just like you and incorporating you into the movie about you. In other words, I want you to experience what it would feel like to have the same thing happen for you. And that is always your goal. Find a way to tell stories that activate the desire of your ideal target audience. All right? So once you've got your offer down, and again, what is your primary offer? Type that into chat right now so I can see that, and that'll help me make this movie, this story we're telling, more about you. What is it that they're investing in? So answer this question along with it. Who is your perfect customer, and who do you want to be a hero to? In other words, if you had one kind of customer you were going to serve for the rest of your life, who would it be? Right? Who's your perfect customer? Isn't that great?
So great.
This by the way, is a Dan Sullivanism. Who do you want to be a hero to?
Questions you're asking.
Yes. Now, what I do when I do my integrations and superpower days, we spend a bunch of time crafting the psychographic demographic, giving that individual a name. In the old days, it was called an avatar, but it's who you want to be a hero to. And what's the movie they want to see themselves being a hero in as a result of utilizing and using your product? Ooh. Isn't that powerful? It's a future-paced projection.
Yeah.
There we go.
It's, when you're having a sales conversation with someone, ideally you want to get them into the space of that dream and really feeling it as if it's possible.
That's why we start.
Really what you're saying.
Right. That's why I started with Charlie. What's the feeling and emotion you want to experience all the time? When that becomes your primary driver and motivation and people feel that through you, you're absolutely congruent. You're heart-centered. Your mind and your body and your spirit are integrated, and you are congruent, which is what makes you attractive. And it also makes the fears dispel, because if you're focused on the one you want to be a hero to, this doesn't become about you anymore. It becomes about service and being a servant to your mission and your goal. It's a total transformation that takes place in the mind and the physicality of the character you represent. So this is good. I'm seeing so much chat show up. So Missy's saying that our products will allow them to be the doers without the shite sliding all over the place. Their feet, electronics, hands, silverware. Okay, it's so great. I love that. That is great. By the way, that's a great hook. Missy, for your product. Okay. Perfect customer, someone seeking and desiring to have optimum brain health. Great. Heroes to help one person at a time, Suzanne. But it's the who, congruent and authentic from Cherie. This is awesome. All right. So clearly you're into this. Fabulous. Next. So this is a guy, now this is the headline I created, how the co-founder of Oatly is shaking up the beverage industry. This is Bjorn Oste from, if you've ever seen Oatly before, he has a new product called Good Idea. Oatly is selling like crazy. But when we did the article, his target audience were investors. He wanted investors to raise their hand and go, wow, this is the Oatly guy. I want to get in on the next thing. And he used the article just to get investor meetings. Okay. So this is another one from Influex. You knew Dimitri, the 11 secrets to creating your own powerful personal brand website. Decent hook. And inside the article, we had 11 steps filled with case studies of all the clients he's worked with that drove people to his website. Okay, again, his entire focus is attracting influencers. Now, here's one for Justin. Now, the whole brand revolves around lifestyle investor. Now, I'm going to get to more of him in a moment, but we crafted, when I met him, I asked him, what do you think it would be worth to share your message? He says, do you think people would be willing to pay $15,000 for my wisdom? Now, I'm going to give you a better story about him in a second. But I said, no, it's going to be a $250,000 offer, which really made him uncomfortable, in a $50,000 a year mastermind. So take a look at this packaging we created. So first of all, having the right kind of packaging, and I don't just mean a box or a book cover, but you've got to mirror and marry the perception and credibility of your brand and reflect it back, and have citations to reflect the premium prices. So you can see here what we did to elevate Justin. And again, just to put this in perspective, so I met Justin Donald in Fiji a little over a year ago. And I said, what business are you in? What do you do? Because he seemed like kind of a boring CPA guy. He's just an ordinary, boring white guy. And he said, well, I'm all about lifestyle, and I don't have a job. Although when I dug a little bit deeper, here's his backstory, Allison. So 4 years ago, he had a job doing sales management for Cutco knives. So many people came out of Cutco, but
I know. Great sales training organization.
It is great sales training. So he had taken some of his money, set it aside, started investing in real estate and then other things. But what Justin's unique superpower is, he went from having a job to making his first $1 million and his first $10 million in 21 months. Over the next 4 years, his next 10 million, and since then, another 10 million. So he's worth over $30 million. He's invested in over 15 different things. And as I learned about him, because I started asking him, just pelting him with a bunch of questions. We're sitting in Fiji after all. And I'm like, tell me your story, and how do you do it? You do. Because I want this to rub off too. Here's a guy worth $30 million in less than 4 years, had a job 4 years ago, and doesn't have a job, and he has cash flow coming in. So as he says, I'm a cash flow investor. And I said, do you want to teach or train your stuff? And he says, yeah, but I don't have any idea where to start. And I go, well, I know a guy who can help you with that. I said, you've got to have a book, and you should have a premium offer, and teach people what you know, because people would pay a fortune to learn how to do this themselves. And that's what led to, for him, his vision day was to ultimately create a package, which was, and if you can see the book title, it says, The 10 Commandments of Cash Flow Investing for Passive Income and Financial Freedom. I don't know about you, Allison. I want cash flow, I want passive income, and I want financial freedom too. Everyone I know does. And that is the ultimate get paid, get laid, live forever story. Because, with all those, you can buy the rest.
I love the branding.
Isn't that beautiful?
Yeah, and it does say luxury, high-end, premium. Mm-hmm.
So full disclosure, we went through 347 different book designs to arrive at these two. But here's where it got even better. And I'll give you the big story in a moment. It's coming up. So the next one is positioning, the premium brand, narrow versus deep versus wide versus shallow. connections and relationships, celebrity endorsements, corporate brand, and association. So that is one question for you is, are you positioned? Do you have a premium brand yourself? And again, for some reason, this is whizzing by, but I like creating sizzle reels when I'm working with people that look elevated and tell a story, which capture all of your successes in life. And what helps with that also is proof. So what stories of transformation and hero's journey or reinventions or case studies or before and afters do you have? So again, type this into chat. How many great testimonials, before and afters or transformations do you have to share that prove your products work? Okay. And this is great. I'm the Tesla of therapeutic mats. 5-star spa quality. Michelle, that is excellent. That is a good story. Here we go. Missy says we have a great video testimonial from Paralympian Chris Waddell, and hopefully that is all over your branding. Do you have a transformational story you could tell? When I'm doing an article about someone, I tell 3 transformational stories. That's how I engage an audience. That's a great way to create a proof. But show me, don't tell me. Allow me to live inside your hero's journey. So right above on the screen right now, what I do everywhere I go, Allison, you're one of my transformational stories. What I have are little videos, and I want to get into the psychology of every one of those people. Okay? And Loki says 2 to 3, including a case study and sizzle reel, but they could use some work. Yes. All right. I've got clients calling me a magician wizard for what I've done for them. Here we go. Testimony from Kathy Smith, celebrity fitness celebrity. Want to get with more influencers. So the way you attract influencers is with them. So again, getting back to Justin Donald, I told you a little bit of the transformational story with him. Met him in Fiji, sat down, and the thing about Justin, and this is something that so many geniuses have, is they're unconsciously competent. They do what they do. They've got magic special forces, Allison, but they haven't been able to articulate them in a way that attracts the right fit, perfect customer they want to be a hero to. So that's all we do. It's just like extract, 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 try to turn it into a system, and then project that into a category of one brand. In his case, lifestyle investor. So we took all this, crafted the story, and the backstory was, this is in 2 days. Pull out the genius, project it, craft a brand. We literally found and registered lifestyleinvestor.com. Turned out it wasn't trademarked. We bought the domain, got it for $700. We did have to do that. And then created an article, published it. He got leads right away. And I'm going to get to the big part of the story, which was crazy. When you nail the story and craft it just right and show the world you have a system that delivers a process, create that category 1 brand, which this is. There's the article. We did the shoot. Got him into Entrepreneur Magazine. The leads came in, and I'd normally play this for you. That's Justin talking about how awesome this process was. But the net was we crafted a $250,000 offer. 2 weeks ago, he enrolled 2 people for $250,000 each, based upon the future pace story he was telling. So, again, being able, in Justin's case, he had never taught his system before, but he was able to describe a system and use himself as the case study. So I always say you can be an expert, you can be an authority as long as your transformation at least worked on you. And that was enough for someone to raise their hand and wire transfer $250,000, single pay, on the promise that he would share his unique system.
Yeah, that's so incredible.
Yeah.
That is so incredible. And I mean, you know, it's like you helped him create his own industry, you know?
Yep. Yeah, exactly. A new category of one. Mm-hmm. So I'll whip through this one here. This one's pretty easy. I call it the takeaway. Every single interview you ever have needs to have, in my system, a 3-step, a 5-step, a 10-step system or a process, and a free gift. So in the case of Justin, we created a 6-part mini series. So it's video where I just had him tell case studies and break down each of his steps, and then tell me a story about an investment that used basically a step or a mindset. So that's my question for you in chat right now. Do you have a system? Do you have a process that your product either was invented with, if it's a B2C, that delivers a result to the consumer, or in your business, is it something that you can depend on and rely on? So Cherise says yes for B2B. Do you have something that could be described and packaged that would be in a book, for example, in an article, or something that can be reflected in your marketing? And then the message. Again, the message is simply, what words do you say that reflect the same language your buying audience uses? Okay, whether it's B2B or B2C, or distributors or investors or vendors. So this is a big mistake most people make when I say, hey, who do we want to attract? And they go, everyone. And I go, no, no, no. I want you to, we're going to craft a story for that one person you want to be a hero to in a category. Because sometimes your customer, you might want to talk to your buying customer. Like for you, Allison, you're going to have the business owner that's going to join you. But for channel partners, like I'm one of your channel partners, you're going to have a different message to me, why I should promote you. At some point, maybe you want an investor. Maybe you want someone to buy your business, right? Or the influencer, or the deal you just did for the podcast network. That was a different channel partner. So every one of these requires a different message. This is a common challenge that I see, and the media as well. How do you become attractive to the media? And then it factor. Now, you've got that it factor, Allison Maslan. I believe charisma can be cultivated and curated. And a lot of people say I have fear of camera. So getting media trained is really important, getting camera comfortable. But it really comes down to when you know what feeling and emotion you want to experience all the time, and you're clear on who you want to be a hero to, the it factor shows up. All these little steps, if you go back, if you've been taking notes, or you get the replay I'm going to share with you of this video and watch it through this lens, you'll see that every one of these steps actually cultivates your it factor. Missy says, I love stepping into my uncomfortable zone, and that means you pass the 11th test, okay? This is great. Missy says we message to each of them. That's great. So, and I call it, this is the acronym, FTLOGAATH. Do you know what that stands for, Allison?
I have no, supercalifragilistic, no idea.
Very close, very close. So, smile for the love of God and all things holy.
Wow, I would have never guessed that.
Yeah, you gotta smile. You're great at it. You got to remember to do it, but think about it. You've been on stage plenty of times and seen how many rotten photos there are of you going, doing that, which is why you're standing there as though the camera's on you all the time. Right on.
Yes. And I will say that I used to be terrified in front of the camera. And it wasn't, it just takes that practice of doing it over and over so that you can just be yourself, because I think that's ultimately the key. But for anybody watching this right now, I'm telling you, I used to be terrified of public speaking. So, you can come a long way in a very short period of time.
Totally can. So that leads us to number 10. Are you coachable? And that is the question. Are you coachable? Allison, you're infinitely coachable. It's why you're successful. Are you brand representative? Know that when you're being coached, nothing is personal. A great coach is there to make you better. But the more resistant you are, the harder it's going to be. And ego is your enemy after all. Okay? So I'm going to do that one more time, which is being brand representative all the time. Never take it personally, and ego is your enemy. And here, Suzanne says, my son challenged me, and I'm very comfortable on camera with practice. And Dawn said something, I challenge my challenge. I love that. Missy says, I love stepping into my uncomfortable zone. And that is the marker of someone who's great. One of the reasons why Tony Robbins is so great at what he does is he is absolutely willing to be uncomfortable and be the dumbest guy in the room. John Assaraf, our friend, always says, I want to be the dumbest guy in the room everywhere I go. Now, here's the last one. Picking the right medium for your audience. So when you get exposure, you get more exposure. Having multiple outlets. And in my experience, getting in one media channel allows you to get in a whole bunch more. And people who love consuming videos are different than people who read articles, who are different than read physical books, or Kindle books, or paperbacks, or hardcover, or audiobooks, or like speeches, or like podcasts or TV and radio. Many people like a few of them, but different people consume a different way. And one thing that I'm doing with everyone I've been working with lately is I have them text their best customers in real time while we're chatting, asking them how would they prefer to consume content and what are they consuming now? Because I'm finding that people are changing, especially now during COVID. Podcasts subscriptions have gone up dramatically. Of course, paid channel content has increased dramatically, et cetera, et cetera. So that's my question for your audience right now. First of all, how do you prefer to consume content right now? Marketing content and information. Type it into chat. This will be super useful for you, Allison. When's the last time you asked your audience that question? I'm kind of curious.
Yeah, I haven't asked that question, but it's interesting because my book originally came out in hardback, but when I finally got the audio done a year later, I had a lot of people going, thank goodness. That's the only way I like to, really take in that information. So, but that would be a good survey for me to do.
Yep, it's worth doing, especially just I do them anecdotally like we are right now. So Loki said video, so keep those coming in. I'm curious how you like it and how your customers do too. Second is articles from Loki. Interesting. So that's interesting. Now, I'll tell you one thing. I created this thing called Zoom Tips. I know you saw it. Michelle, by the way, said video, podcast, books, and audiobooks. Lou says books and video. Now, I created this video and this content called 25 Top Zoom Meeting Strategies. I'll follow up with everyone on this, and I'll send it to you. But the net is that article got me two customers who invested $50,000. So just from an article, and that happened very, very rapidly. So a free piece of content. And anything that matches and reaches. So again, in this particular case, the guy you see on screen, his name is Brett. What we focused on for him, his message was a speech, a TED-style talk, which then got an article, and then we created a sizzle reel, and then he launched a podcast. So he knew the order of the people he wanted to influence in picking the most effective medium for his audience made the big difference. And then here's his podcast. So here's a summary. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you exactly what I'm doing with and for other people. So it's my opinion that you could be one story, one relationship, one phone call away from financial freedom. I know that sounds crazy, but it's like, what is it? For you, Allison, I think that new podcast series you have can give you that big bump because you're going to be in front of your perfect audience. And
who gave me the idea for that podcast? You.
Oh, yeah. That was a great brainstorm day. Yeah. Just remember, all I ask for is 10%.
Okay.
Forever.
No problem.
Forever. Problem. Okay, no problem. And positioning and branding can last forever. It's something you work on all the time. You've done an amazing job of it, Allison. Media is the gift that keeps on giving when it's done right. That's why, again, I pick, I like Entrepreneur and Forbes magazine. Those are the two that work for me. And momentum, media reproduces itself. The more momentum you have. It is hard work and it does take practice, but there are shortcuts. So I'm going to show you the shortcut. And so my question for you right now, based on what we've seen, is what is one sale worth to you? And do you want to see how I do this with and for other people? And you can type that into chat. But I'm actually going to show exactly how I'm doing this right now. Okay, Allison? I'm going to break it down.
Please
All right.
do.
So here it is. I call this the Superpower Accelerator. This is how I work with people. And the short version of this was, for years, I did online marketing, branding, software, and I had what I call a shallow and wide practice. And 2 years ago, I woke up in the middle of the night and had anxiety, and I felt sad, and I really felt like I was stuck on a rat wheel or a hamster wheel. And I know you remember when this was happening, Allison, and I just made a commitment and a decision that I didn't want to do it anymore. Cancer almost killed me 7 years ago, and I felt like my business was doing the same. And in the dark night of the soul, I realized that I had outgrown who I was, what I did, why I did it, and who I did it for, and wanted to find an elegant way off of the hamster wheel. Now, the truth was, to wind down that business and shut it down, I felt would cost $1.5 million, because pretty soon you depend on the wheel to fuel the wheel, and if you get off the wheel, everything breaks. And I don't know if you've ever felt trapped like that before.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, exactly.
I ran over myself with my car. You remember that?
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, it was kind of same feeling.
It's crazy. So how do you stop that thing? And that's really what went. So my reaction was, I wanted to create a business I loved and work with people I love. Those were the two criteria. I wanted to experience that kind of joy all the time. So that's what I'm going to share with you. This is what the Superpower Accelerator is. So basically, it's where I work one-on-one now. I don't have coaches. I don't have infrastructure. I do 90 minutes to figure out what your core superpower is and the business and the category of one you want to create. Either you want to reinvent yourself or reinvent your business or elevate it to a premium state. And then we spend 2 days, virtual or in person, and then we do an integration. It's an all-inclusive experience where I develop a content, an article, a video interview, publishing, promotion in the media. And the way it works is it's either remote, where it's just like this over Zoom, to reinvent and virtualize, craft a premium offer with the messaging and the packaging and a giveaway. And then sometimes, like with Justin, we created a mini product, and then all the how stuff gets taken care of with my team and my relationships. Okay. Plus, we're doing it in real time, or we do it in person. So now that COVID's starting to relax a little bit, I've got people coming out to stay. So you stay at the beach condo, you and a +1. It can be a spouse, a business partner, or an associate. It's one-on-one with my team and I. And then we work in studio, which is just 10 minutes away. And we create products, sales videos, marketing content. But the core of this is doing the article, getting you published in Entrepreneur Magazine to get that message out super fast so you can continue to get more momentum and use it as a sales tool. So there's two options. One of them is the virtual option, which is 2 days. It's 2 days and some change spread out. Or it is option 2 is one-on-one in person, where you're staying at the condo, all inclusive, back and forth. So basically the option 1 is 3 investments of $11,995, and you're going, wow, that's a premium offer. Yes, it is. Or 1 investment of $29,995, or option 2, which is in person, stay at the condo. It is a freaking amazing time. It's like I said, it's all inclusive, and that's 2 investments or 1 investment. And then what I do, of course, I always have a bonus, because if you're working remotely, you've got to have a really cool looking mini studio. So it's the highest quality webcam that you can get, a ring light, background divider, some cool accent lights, and a really, really good microphone that gets included. So that way, if you're working remotely, which a lot of this is, if you don't have a mini studio at home, you absolutely need one in the world of virtualization, digitization. And I'll explain how we work together. So first, all you have to do is say, I'm in, send a quick chat. You visit this link, which my assistant will pop into chat right now. It's paidforlife.com/start. Or you can call that phone number, 858-412-0858. Lori will pop that in right now. There's a deposit to leave. That way I know you're serious, because we actually follow up with you right away. And then either Lori, Aaron, or Alex, they're my team members, will schedule your onboarding session and vision day. It happens just like that. And then you receive a document to do the onboarding. It's really, really simple. So the net for you is this. There is a, as you can see, I'm in the premium business. I do exactly what I describe, and I help you do it as well. And then, of course, I've got some additional training and resources. So that's the page. And again, my team's here. And I know this might be a shock to the system, but that's the way I like it. So for you, Allison, do you have any questions, or are there any other questions out there? But I love to show.
Well, I mean, really, for most people here who said their premium offer is worth more than, sometimes 3 times more than what you just said. And remember, this will last you a lifetime. So, that's what I've done over and over, is in investing. That's why I'm sitting here. That's why you're sitting where you are, right?
Yeah. Well, here's,
go ahead.
This is good. So Suzanne says she's definitely interested in the future. So here's the way I frame this is, what used to take me 4 to 18 months to do with someone who enrolled in my programs, I can actually deliver in 2 days, because you're getting 100% of mine and my team's attention. So this can include, and it varies. Everyone has a customized experience, but it comes down to, imagine being able to take your life's experience and your wisdom and your knowledge, being able to compress that, have someone outside see you as you really are, and be able to communicate that story, that message, turn it into a future-paced article based on the new you, and get it out there, but then have the sales video where you don't have to remember anything, because we do it interview style. That's the beauty of it. And we have total editorial control. That's why I could say Justin Donald is the Warren Buffett of lifestyle investing. We invented a category, and we can say anything we want about you. It has to be true, obviously, but when you step into the new you, and that article is all you need to get people to raise their hand and have that experience of, you're the one I've been looking for. So often I've worked with people who are in the B2C business, and they're like, I'm working with this woman, her name's Missy Lone right now. She is a coach to 300 dance studios, but she actually wants to be an advisor. So what she did is she decided she wanted to be an advisor to more businesses and get out of her day-to-day and do premium offers, and also work as an investor. So that's an example. The bottom line is, get it going. You can get it going super quickly. And Dawn says, I'm interested, and must generate funds. So that's the best thing to do, Dawn, is just, we can start a conversation, make sure it's a right fit for you. But my objective for you is for you to get an ROI on your investment ×4 inside of 2 to 4 months when you step into this. And what my commitment to you is, I'm going to make sure that I can deliver that for you in our conversation right away. So the secret, again, is just send a quick message, say, I'm interested, we'll follow up with you. There's a conversation, a deposit, and then we schedule you and get you going through the flow, and we hold your hand every step of the way. So for you, Allison, anything that you want to add to this experience, maybe your observation that I'm unaware of, that I don't see for this?
Well, I have a saying, make decisions from where you're going, not from where you're at. Mm-hmm. So if you're looking at this saying, could I afford to do this right now? You're making that decision based on where you're sitting right now. So you have to be able to see the unseen, and that's really what Mike is going to help you do, is to create that unseen, and that's where the revenue comes from. So by actually doing this, puts you into a whole other world, really. And so, that's really what I want to say. And here's the thing. I don't highlight other when I'm experts to my list. I hardly ever do this unless I, can, 1,000% vouch for this person, because the last thing I ever want is to receive a phone call or an email going, "Who did you refer me to?" So I'm only sitting here this morning. And for me to get up really early like this, Mike, is because I just so believe in you and what you do. I've never met anybody like you before and what you're capable of. And you really are, you're there, you're standing by your people. You've done it for me over and over again. You've done it for my clients over and over again in Pinnacle. So gosh, I can't say enough, unequivocally, Mike is the guy to help you to build this brand, and, actually put the revenue streams behind it. So it's really, actually, I'm kind of surprised. I thought it was going to be a lot more expensive than that.
Well, great. Well, I think the key is, me, Allison, you've known me a long time. And only you can say this. I believe I'm happier now than I've ever been before. And I've lived a life of the wide and shallow. And I love the narrow and deep even better. And that's been a big motivator. I met more interesting people, and my biggest regret and sadness was when I'd meet amazing people who'd come in and they'd want their book done, or they'd want to do coaching or whatever. And I was too busy working in my business instead of on my business. And I didn't have the time to go as deep as this. And I like it better. I like this business model better. It's a lot more elegant and simple. And Suzanne just said, happiness is key, narrow and deep. Yes. So here's what I did for a few of you who said, hey, email me and I'll send you my phone number. And I understand you can either send it direct, or I just put my text number in chat for you, which is 858-412-0858. Go ahead and text that number if you're concerned about privacy and all that. Even though you can do private chat, just text it, and then I'll follow up with you right after we get done here and get you down the path, and so will my team. We'll just get you taken care of. So for you, Allison, that's what I have. I'm done. We'll follow up with your team here, make sure, or your tribe. I'll take great care of them. You know that. And I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart. I love you. I love Mike. I'm so glad we spent the weekend together. Vivian said, I want another weekend with you guys. She's going to reach out to you. We have an idea, by the way.
Oh, really?
For another, a little easy trip, maybe in the next week or two, just for a night. So
we bumped into them. How weird, in Idlewild, and for a weekend getaway. And who won the Scrabble game?
Oh, hello? You rotten thing, you. That was luck. No, it was so unbelievable.
I can't believe it.
It was, I'm going to be like Scrabble game ever. So here, just for everyone's asking about the phone number again, I'm going to tell you what that number is. I put it in text. It's 858-412-0858. That's for Suzanne and for Dawn. There you go. Erin's in there as well. Erin will follow up with you. So keep on going. Tell the Scrabble story, because we did get our asses kicked.
Yeah, well, just to say that my husband's been, killing me in Scrabble for a couple of years. And so I finally beat him. And so my confidence was up, and it was killing me because I'm a journalism major, and my husband, who botches, the grammar constantly, was beating me because he got the strategy. I wasn't getting the strategy down. And so, I don't know. I think I won by, a small landslide, let's just say.
It was
words like po and abu and, words we didn't even know were words.
It was a very tight game, and I got to see your frustrated face several times because you almost didn't win. And I can tell you're probably kind of a little bit of a sore loser.
Oh, that's not true. But I am very competitive.
You are competitive. I did. I saw a different face I hadn't seen in years before. That's for sure.
Well,
So,
listen, definitely reach out to Mike, even if you're not sure. At least have the conversation and you'll learn something. I've learned so much on this, Mike. Thanks. I was here taking notes myself.
I saw that. Thank you.
This is really informative and you asked some really powerful questions and some things that I'm actually going to go back to my audience and get some clarity on. So thank you for doing this today. Thanks for sharing your genius.
Oh, thank you.
And,
appreciate you so much. All right.
Love to you and love to everybody that's on here. Thanks for spending your morning with us.
Absolutely. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you, Allison. I'll follow up with this other big idea that Vivian and I had last night. Okay.
Okay.
All right, everyone. Thank you for being here. Bye-bye.
Bye.